Yes. Hi, I'm Dave Robertson. I work for Barclays, and I work for Barclays in Knutsford in the northwest, and we employ about 3,000 technologists. And Barclays, the Barclays site is the largest technology site in the UK. We have got an active apprenticeship programme, but we also recruit graduates, and we also have a huge demand for mobile application developers now, because the world is moving to mobile, and Barclays, like many other banks, do a lot of the business online and by mobile now. So there's a huge demand for that technology. So what we're finding is that when we recruit apprentices who are coming in from school, they have very, very low technology skills in terms of being able to program computers, understanding the technology behind the computers. They can certainly use the computers perfectly well, so they can use Word and they can use Excel and so on, that's fine. And they're usually bright, which is great, but they have very little understanding of how to program a computer. And that it really is a problem when it comes to designing and developing software applications, because mobile applications, whether they're on Apple or whether they're on Android or Windows platform, are pretty much the same. They require the same level of technology understanding. So what we're looking to do is we get apprentices in, but we're looking to...
Stop again. What we're looking to do?
What we're looking to do is to train up those apprentices in some kind of technology skill. So we're looking to put them on programming courses, we're looking to put them in software design courses, that sort of things, to get their skill level up to where we can actively employ them on some of the development programs that we've got. But it's not just apprentices. We're also finding that graduates are coming in, and the graduates might not be in computer science, but they might be in some other disciplines. And again, there's a very low level of understanding of IT generally, and we have to sort of look at training them up to do that. What we're looking to really to do in terms of improving the situation is to go out to the schools and try to get schools to improve their IT skills in pupils, and that's our primary objective at this point for our tech awareness programme.
So how have you survived today? Aren't available to you?
Well, we've had to our own internal training programmes, is really to get people up to the level that we need them. But I think also it's just taking us longer to get the apprentices up to a level where they can be productive. I think, and it's our own investment in time to do that. We've also had quite an active outsourcing programme to India, so there's been quite a lot of technology skills that we could call upon in offshore. But the cost of offshore now is pretty much the same as the cost of onshore resources, so the cost of an apprentice is pretty much the same as it is in India, and therefore it makes much more financial sense to train up our own localised resources to that level, and that's something that's been missing as well. So I think part of the problem is that because companies have outsourced over the last 10 to 15 years, there has been a bit of a dip in IT skills generally that have been available to us, and we've been able to get that offshore, but that's no longer a financially viable option.
If I was to say that you could have 3 policies which we recommend in this report, what would those policies be? What do you think needs to change?
We'd like to see basic programming being taught in schools, probably at a very early age in secondary school, and perhaps even in the feeder schools. We're looking into that, and we think that's a possibility. We think learning to program in computers gives you an understanding of IT technology that goes across all disciplines, and it's very important. But we also see that there's a problem in teaching. And whilst there may be a desire to teach programming in schools and teach technology in schools, there's a lot of teachers don't have the skills to be able to do that. So we'd like to see something done about that. From Barclays' perspective, we are actively trying to help teachers by sending out our own technologists and assisting them in the classroom where we can, and also bringing pupils into Barclays and giving them some programming knowledge and training as well.
Brilliant. Okay. Is there anything you would like to add to this?
I think it's not just about throwing resources. It's not just about throwing hardware and computers into the problem. It's about technology skills, and I think that's an important aspect of it. That we have spent in the last 10, 15 years. Schools have become networked. They have computers. They really do have all the resources, more or less, to be able to do these things. But what they don't have is the technology skills to be able to really teach IT at a low level, which allows pupils to pick up the basics and then to make the choices. And so there was one of the things you asked me with 3 policies. The third policy would be about being able to allow students to make the choices earlier. So in other words, what we're finding is that pupils have not made a technology choice early on, perhaps at GCSE level, and we think that there should be much more awareness of technology skills before that choice is made, because certainly with girls we find that if they don't make technology choices at the age of 13 and 14, we tend to have lost them. I think it should be a core subject. ICT is already a kind of core subject anyway. I think that ICT should be extended into core technology skills that should be taught either in the first and second years or even into some sort of primary school level. But I think the core technology is extremely important to understanding the nature of all disciplines in software engineering. So whether it's architecture of a particular application, whether it's networking, whether it's a range of these different skills, the core understanding of the technology really helps to make a difference. I think UK technology companies could do a lot more to go out and help schools with their own in-house expertise. One of the problems that we find is that IT teachers would rather work in industry, perhaps because salaries are better or whatever. So I think it's incumbent upon technology companies to perhaps to put something back into schools. And I don't think that the cost of doing that is particularly big to them, because it's just about time. It's not necessarily about resources, and that's something that we've certainly found in Barclays, that that resources are not a problem. It's time and skills that are missing. In Barclays, in the technology organisation, we do have quite a large representation of women, but not in core technology roles. And we have identified quite a serious discrepancy in the numbers of male apprentices or graduates coming into core technology roles as opposed to women. So we are trying to address that as part of our tech awareness campaign. And the idea is to try and get women interested in technology. And we are also working with the Cabinet Office to try and improve that situation, because there is a Cabinet Office directive to try and make that balance better in terms of core technology roles. So what we're doing is, again, going out to schools and looking for particular events that we can get girls who are probably around the age of 13 or 12, who we can look to inspire in some technology, give them information on technology roles, give them a career path, that sort of thing. And that's because what we found is that if girls don't make the choice at the age of 13 for technology, then you've lost them. And they tend not to want to come into the technology industries after that. So if we can get them at the age of before they make their choices, then we think that should be able to make a difference.
And when you've gone into schools, what have you noticed about girls' attitudes?
Well, we've done quite a lot of programming courses with girls in the classroom, and when the girls start to do the programming and they look at the results of practical programming, quite often with robotics, you find that there isn't any reason why they should not be interested in the first place. But why they don't appear to be interested without taking it to them in that way, we simply don't have the answers to that. But being able to go into a classroom and show them that programming is actually something that's very accessible, something that's very interesting, something that's ultimately rewarding in a very short space of time, does seem to make a difference, and it shows that girls can certainly do it as equally, if not better, than boys. And in fact, many of the projects that we've run in classrooms, the girls are often the ones who complete the exercises first. They complete them better, and they have understood the subject a little bit better as well. So there is no reason why they shouldn't be interested in the subject.